What's going on, YouTube? Back with another presentation. Hey, if I seem a little scatterbrained today, if I look a little scatterbrained, I apologize, but the massive heat wave that we're dealing with right now in my area, this room is officially 95 degrees. So, hey, I'm doing the best I can. I got to do this video and another video after this, so we'll see how far I get. But anyway, wanted to let you know, in case you haven't heard already, I was surprised there was a major TNA wrestler who's been with the company for decades, a TNA legend. He has unfortunately quit the company. Now, this particular person, I never thought I'd see him quitting TNA, of all people. So you figure, things must be pretty damn bad in TNA if even this guy's leaving, because he's a diehard, Well, officially, TNA has confirmed, along with Fightful Select, that as of today, Eric Young has officially quit TNA Wrestling. I never thought I'd see that happen. And he was one of their better wrestlers, so I'm upset to hear about him leaving. TNA, I figure they've already been going down the tubes for so long, and it's just going to make the company that much weaker of a company. So, according to people that Fightful Select has talked to, they've said that, hey, WWE with Triple H, as far as they're concerned, Triple H, he's left the door open for a return of Eric Young to WWE, so who knows, maybe, now, Eric Young, he's 47 years old right now, so who knows, maybe he could return as a wrestler, or maybe even as a producer or a coach or something like that, but he would definitely be, Eric Young would be valuable as a coach, a wrestler, or a producer, whatever. He'd be valuable in any capacity in WWE. Since we've seen that Eric Young worked in WWE in the past from 2016 to 2021. You'd seen him in that faction called Sanity. And when Vince McMahon fired tons of people back in 2021, Eric Young, he was rehired back with Triple H rehiring him in 2022. But then, the thing was, he was never put on television, and then the word was that Eric Young, he quit WWE back in 2023. So he had that second stint with WWE, but he was never on television, and he quit again because he didn't want to have to deal with Vince McMahon once he heard, okay, Vince McMahon, he's getting more of a strong stranglehold on things again. He's like, no, I don't want to deal with Vince McMahon. So he ended up quitting and going back to TNA. So anyway, so that's big news there. So he was a great wrestler. I'm sad to hear about that, but it's not surprising in the sense that, in TNA, there's been all kinds of rumors that TNA is looking to sell their business to somebody else. So who knows if maybe Tony Khan might buy it and make TNA part of AEW or something, the way that Tony Khan made Ring of Honor part of AEW. Who knows? That may happen. Or maybe WWE, they'll end up buying TNA. Who knows with the who knows what's all going to happen with that. So, it's it just seems like TNA's been doing so bad recently, which isn't what you would think, because you'd think with TNA being put on AMC on the, on that cable channel, you'd think they'd be doing better. But it seems like, no, they're trying to do corporate downsizing. They're looking to cut costs. They want to cut costs, all over the place. We've heard about they want to, how they ended up, terminating Tommy Dreamer, who was the head of the creative department there, and they ended up terminating Sami Callihan, who worked behind the scenes. He originally was a wrestler. We've seen Sami Callihan, how he started off. You'd see him on television back in WWE NXT back around 2015. Then he went to TNA, and now he's been working behind the scenes the last several years. But now TNA even got rid of Sami Callihan, and we've just seen one wrestler after another quitting TNA wrestling. It's like you feel like so many wrestlers have quit TNA in the last several months. It's easy to lose track of everybody. It's just making TNA that much weaker of a company. So far this year, we've seen, let's see if I can remember everybody that quit TNA so far this year. We've seen 3 out of 4 members of the Rascals. We've seen Zachary Wentz, who originally he was part of WWE NXT, but then he went to TNA with Zachary Wentz quit, and Myron Reed of the Rascals quit, and then Desmond Xavier, who formerly went by the name Wes Lee, in WWE NXT. We had Desmond Xavier. He ended up quitting TNA, and then we'd seen the tag team, the Inspiration. What was that? Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay, formerly known as the Iconics in WWE. I mean, they formerly went by the names Billy Kay and Peyton Royce in WWE. They ended up quitting, and then so many other people in TNA ended up quitting, like Miley Grace and Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard, she started off, you'd seen her back in the 2010s, back in WWE NXT, and then she went to TNA. Tessa Blanchard quit. Then we'd seen earlier this year also, Steve Maclin quit TNA. Now, he formerly, back in WWE, Steve Maclin went by the name Steve Cutler. He was a member of the faction, the Forgotten Sons, along with, there were a couple other guys like Jackson Riker, and what was that other, I forget that other guy's name. West something or other, but Steve Maclin, he quit. I didn't think I'd ever see Steve Maclin quit TNA, but yeah, he's gone. And Danny Luna, formerly of WWE NXT UK, she went to TNA. She ended up quitting earlier this year. So, and then probably the next person we're going to hear about officially quitting TNA wrestling is Mike Santana, the former TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Here he was in TNA for a long time, and then from 2019 through 2024, he worked for AEW for like 5 years, and around May 2024, Mike Santana, he came back to TNA, and now it's it looks like his contract is coming up. It's going to expire in mid-July 2026, and word is that basically, WWE has had a close eye on Mike Santana, and sources within WWE say that, WWE, what they want to do is when Mike Santana's contract expires in mid-July, they want to bring him into the NXT roster, and then by the end of 2026, they want to see Mike Santana on the main roster. So we'll have to see how all that plays out. We'll have to see, if they do bring Mike Santana in and they bring him into the main roster, what's going to happen with that? Because, so often, WWE, they bring in wrestlers to the main roster and they completely ruin them. They turn them into jobbers. They make them lose most of the time. So, let's see what happens with Mike Santana. Is WWE, are they going to bring him to Raw and SmackDown and just to make him lose all the time? Who knows? Who knows how this is all going to play out, So it should be interesting because Mike Santana, damn well, if you've been watching TNA or even AEW, you've been watching Mike Santana, he's good. He has some pretty damn good, violent, and intense matches. So should be interesting to see what all happens with that. So, it's just crazy, everything that's going on with TNA right now. I thought TNA was going to be doing better now that they've been on AMC, but it just seems like ever since they've gone on to AMC, the company's just gone on even more of a downward spiral. So, it should be interesting. Now, here it is. It's July 1st, and if you haven't seen this already, it should be interesting to watch the 3-hour TNA documentary on Dark Side of the Ring. If you haven't heard about this already, on July 7th, Dark Side, or the next season of Dark Side of the Ring is gonna start up on the channel Vice, and they're gonna be having a 3-hour. They're gonna do parts 1, 2, and 3. They're gonna be doing the history of TNA. So it should be interesting to see about how TNA going straight to hell. People had such high hopes for it when it started back in 2002. Here, I loved it when it first started. I was thinking, oh my God, I hope this is going to become the next WCW. And wow, boy, it did sure go straight to hell, So it should be interesting, man. I had read a lot about, TNA, their history, and how the company just went straight to hell and everything like that. But it should be interesting to see, what Dark Side of the Ring has to say about it on this 3-part documentary. I think on July 7th, Vice is going to air parts 1 and 2 from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And they'll be doing a bunch of a bunch of replays after that, and then later on they'll be doing part 3 of this documentary. So it should be interesting to see what their take is about TNA starting off with everybody having such high hopes for it, and the company just going straight to hell, and they're trying to stay afloat. I'm surprised it's even still in business 24 years later, but we'll see what they have to say about all that. And as always, I want to, keep you all in touch with what's going on in the wrestling business, because it seems like you try to keep on top of wrestling, but it's like a full-time job almost when you try to keep on top of WWE and All Elite Wrestling and Ring of Honor Wrestling, the sister promotion of All Elite Wrestling that Tony Khan's bought, and TNA, you try to keep on top of that, and NWA Wrestling, and geez, the whole shebang, MLW, I mean, it's ridiculous how involved this could be just following the business. So I'm trying to help, people keep on top of it if they'd like to. And, we'll see how it goes from there. And hey, I mean, I even got these, I don't know if these glasses, if they make me look any more presentable, probably not. But I figure these things here make me look a little bit more like John Lennon, because they're kind of like Lennon specs. Some people, they see me and they're like, hey, you kind of remind me of John Lennon and stuff. So I figured, well, maybe, I don't know, I look a little more presentable wearing these kind of like almost circular Lennon specs, but I doubt it. No matter what I do, I don't look any more presentable. So anyway, I'll catch you later on the next video there. So thanks for watching.